Well, okay. Hello, Call It Crew. Hello, Camilla.
Hi, Jessica. My favorite time of the week.
I love it. I love it. I really look forward to it. I think about things all the time where I'm like, hold that thought. Don't even process that thought anymore. Wait to talk about it with Camilla.
Well, we do this on the phone too, where we call each other and you'll
Yeah.
start telling a story and I'm like, I don't want to hear it.
Don't say anymore.
Wait, we're talking about this on the pod.
I know.
I do
I
feel
know.
like I want to start the show by saying, because I absolutely geeked out. Yahoo just had this little release this article saying
Ugh.
that their 6 top celebrity podcasts that they're really enjoying listening to.
Yeah.
And
No, well, I think that the exact words were because I think that that's important to explain why we felt the power of it was the top 6 celebrity podcasts that we can't stop listening to.
yes,
Can you think of a better compliment?
I cannot, and I feel like, and tell me how you feel. I read it and I felt like it wasn't just us because our podcast includes, this is what I love so much about this. It includes you guys, our Call It community, our
Mm.
Call It crew. And so you guys are also part of listening to this podcast. You're writing us in, you're being vulnerable, we're sharing funny moments, we're sharing hard moments. And so it's all of us. I felt like it was an article for
Yeah.
like acknowledging all of us. And I just thought that was so amazing. I geeked out.
I know. I know. I felt a very big flush of excitement. I was very excited. I also just feel like there's so much more to come. So I can't wait for the more and more. And I just feel like every time we go back to the well of questions and it's just it's so hard to pick because all of them are so rich and interesting and I just love them all.
How's your week been?
I'm still, I'm feeling the summer of it all. We've sort of established a groove though. We've got the camps they've been locked in. We're locked into the camps.
Yeah.
And then I have been sort of finding my rhythm and finding my way. And I've started working out again. And, they always tell you, all the scientists and people who know things, how when you work out, it's not just good for your body, but it's also really good for your mind. And
Yeah.
I always go, yeah, of course I know that, whatever, whatever. But I have to say today, I went to a class that was really, really hard and I was sweating and it was hard and I was hot and it's all the things. And then I finished it and I came out and my whole mind was like clear and crisp and I felt really good and I felt happy. Not like I skew sad so much, but
No.
I felt
Yeah.
like a whole release of all the things that they tell you happen scientifically within your body.
Yeah.
And so I'm here to say anybody who's, contemplating that gym schedule, contemplating that class schedule near you, I'm here to say go do it. Go do it. Because guess what? There's some happy juice and all that.
You
I
know,
finished and was like, I can attack the world.
oh, yeah. I loved Reforma Pilates. And then the place I used to go to, it shut down in the pandemic. And I have a group of girlfriends and they were like, hey, we take this class in Los Angeles. It's amazing. You have to come. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. Okay. I can go with a few of my friends and start Reforma Pilates again. And then I was like, what? Okay. So what's the place called? Like, where is it? And they're like, oh. And I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, the place is called Grace Anatomy. And I was like, you guys, do you know what a loser I would look like if I showed, like, out of all the Pilates places in Los Angeles, if I was like, I'm going to go to Grace Anatomy. Why don't I just
Mhm.
wear scrubs? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I will look like such a loser. Like, look at me. I'm here. It's Dr. Wilson. So that's my excuse for not working out.
Okay, we need to find you a different place then.
No, I have some weights at home. I'm trying to do the weight thing.
See, I like Pilates too, and I think that that's
I
really
do.
great. Although I'm sorry to all those who are Pilates fanatics. I mean, I'm saying yes and or no and. I don't ever see a giant difference in my physique. Like I don't take Pilates a bunch of times and say like, wow, my body's really changing in this way. Um, that doesn't mean that I don't highly enjoy it and that I don't think that there are benefits to it. I just think that it's harder. Like if you start lifting weights or you do a bunch of cardio, I think that you see a more immediate difference in your body, like in your physique, the way it looks. Pilates, I think, is a little more subtle.
I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the Pilates of it. My week is I'm getting over the summer. I'm done.
Oh,
I'm done with it. And can I tell you something? I was so excited. I walked into Joann's Fabrics. No, this is not an ad for Joann's Fabrics. I got that, by the way, when I mentioned Dyson the other day. Everyone's like, that's a Dyson commercial. I'm like, no, I wish it was because I spent a lot of money on that thing. I walk into Joann's. Joann's already has all of the Halloween decor. And I don't know if you feel this way. I love Halloween so much. My soul, I was like skipping through the aisles. I was like, it's a skeleton. And every year Matt's like, please don't buy any more stuff. And I have my eyeballs on like a 20-foot skeleton that I genuinely think would look great in our front yard. And I'm not joking. Do you do like the inflatable? Do you do the thing?
We're really going to talk about Halloween right now?
I want to. Why not? I'm just wondering, like, that's where I'm at. I'm over the summer. Do you do just answer me this. Do you do the inflatables?
Well, here's what I think a better answer is. Let's put a pause on this because we have a very exciting thing happening today. Let's just press pause on Halloween. We're going to come back to it.
She's so
just
rude.
Like my Minority Report helicopter pilot situation.
You know what?
We're
going to
come back
pause
to
on my happiness.
I'm going to pause your happiness, but I'm going to bring you even greater happiness. Are you ready?
I know.
Guess what we have here today? Guess who's joining our little community? Guess who's jumping on board and becoming part of the crew? Skylar Astin, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited because I don't know him. You do. I know him from afar. You know him up close.
He is the best.
Real close.
Yeah, we got.
Didn't you smooch him?
Actually, no, they didn't smooch. But we
interesting.
I know. It's very. I know.
Didn't you have sex?
Strange. Behind the scenes. No, that sounded really bad. Not behind the scenes, people. On the show. On the show, Joe talks about very bad sex with him, actually. Very not good sex with
I was going to say you made the sweet love, but evidently you did not. You had bad sex. Not so sweet sex, but without kissing. Maybe it was not so sweet because there was no kissing. Because you need a little foreplay before the big event, no?
You do. There was something.
We digress. We were talking about being excited. Yes.
I'm going to let Skylar talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him about a lot of things. I'm very excited. All right, can we let him in?
We're going to let him in. Skylar Astin, welcome to Call It What It Is.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, ladies.
I have not seen you.
We're so excited.
We're so excited. The last time I saw you was when you walked off set on Grey's Anatomy.
The saddest. And we made that cute little video with the Breakfast Club theme.
I know.
We were BFF and the newest TikTok influencer duo, by the way.
Actually, can I tell you? I feel like Skylar started me on the TikTok cool trend. I was not like Skylar arrived on set and he was like, we've got to make some cool stuff. And I was like, what's the internet?
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea.
I was like, I'm not sure, but these 18-year-old ADs all know what the internet is. And they did all of our work for us. And since then, I've not posted on TikTok because they did all the stuff. They just told us what was cool.
Yes, Jess, you know all of our amazing 80s on Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, and often stars of the TikTok videos themselves.
We force them to be stars of it. Anyone listening, they're all cool Gen Z.
Now I see how it started because when I went back, she made me do stuff. And I was just like, all right, I'll just I don't know tell me what to do. I'll just do it. I'll just do it.
Yeah. That's how it happened.
Now when I see you do it, I get FOMO because I'm like, I can't even do this anymore. I just have the ideas.
But you can.
Yeah. You know where to find her.
That's true.
Just flash that badge. Get on in there.
I do have a bunch of their numbers. I could call them. I just start hiring them as my social media team.
Your social media managers. Okay, so for people that have not seen Grey's Anatomy or are still catching up on Grey's Anatomy, Skylar came on to play Joe Wilson, my character's love interest, for I think 4 episodes,
Like four, about four,
something like
yeah.
about 4-ish. We did
Uh-huh.
not know each other before, and it was instant love for me, at least Skylar.
No, for sure.
We just clicked instantly. And in fact, to be honest, I did like try and beg the writers to just keep you and be like, no, this is the guy for Joe. And then you went and booked your own show.
Oh,
I loved that you used to do that. By the way, I was down to do both. I don't know if I could split my body in half, but like, I
I
loved
know.
like, can we keep them? And
Yeah.
it was an absolute delight working with you. It was so easy. Very rarely. I mean, I tend to get along with people that I work with, but sometimes it's just like love at first scene.
Yeah.
And
Love at first scene. And we had it and we laughed so much.
yes. And
So,
for those of you, I mean, is it okay to give spoilers about Greg?
yeah. Yeah,
So
sure.
I'm alive, but I don't, but I was kind of cast off in a swift way. And I think you and I were both like playing love,
We
like
were.
pretty hard. And now all
Yeah.
of a sudden there was one episode where it was like, and now he's clingy, and now you're repulsed by him, and now he's gone.
Yes,
oh.
we were playing the long game.
I think we
Because
were.
we didn't know where it went, and it was so adorable and so cute. And I had said to them, you got to bring someone on the show for Joe that's so different to her past relationship, someone that's really fun and like brings that out of her. And then you walked onto set and I was like, oh my God, this works. And people instantly, our fandom, as you know, Jessica, is very fickle. And it takes a long time for them to warm up to new relationships. And it was like instantly, as soon as you aired, everyone really loved those two characters together, which was so awesome and amazing. And I was like, we have something here. But then you're so talented, you had to go book something.
I
It
feel
was
like, but I
just
feel like the story isn't
okay.
over yet. Listening to you guys talk about this, I feel like the story is not over. I feel like in
Well,
Grey's everything I just feel like there's a chance for you guys.
honestly,
But,
the way
you
they
know,
ended it was so cringy
Yeah.
that
oh,
it killed it. He bought me like you want to tell the story. You can tell the story, Skylar, because it was your sex bear.
So since they had to get me off, and I guess they did keep me around for maybe the future, who knows?
Yeah.
But I just started to I would always do like really sweet things, or my character obviously, where I would show up at Joe's work and I would bring her cookies and bring her, it just be this sweet guy, would help like walk the stroller into the hospital.
It was
And
really
then
cute.
and then it just took it a little too far, where he was just like giving too many gifts. And apparently we didn't shoot this scene, but Joe references the fact that when we finally do the
Oh,
deed, I sing in operatic fashion when I,
orgasm.
wow.
You know what's so funny is I literally forgot about that
yeah,
until you just said it.
yeah. So now that we're like she's talking to Chris Carmack's character about like,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know about this
This
Todd
isn't
guy.
gonna work.
And then there I show up with like this humongous oversized stuffy, and I'm just like, I'm
At
like,
the hospital.
I got you a bear because we had sex. It's a sex bear, and
You
she's
say that
just,
out loud?
I sure
Yeah,
did.
those are words said out loud.
Oh.
That was yes, that was written and performed.
You said that out. So Jessica,
Oh.
I don't know if there's really
Whoa. Wow.
Listen, those Grey's Anatomy writers are so amazing. They could write anything. They can
Yeah.
reverse it. They could be like,
Totally.
what I meant by sex bear was that we were bare while we were having sex.
I was
And
not
Totally.
ready for that.
Or you know what they could do? They could be like, Link told me that you loved this, and to say this like he had sabotaged you.
Yeah, I love
There
that.
you
I
go.
like that. I like that.
Killing two birds with one story. I love it.
Yes. So Jessica did not work with you on Grey's. However, you are a huge Spring Awakening fan, Jess.
What, you so just stole my thunder there. Just back
Did
it up
I?
there. Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna
No,
I'll
pretend
we'll
like
take
she
it
didn't
back.
say that. Pretend like she didn't
I
say that.
will.
Let's start with this. Okay, so you
Jessica-
guys got to work together,
Yeah.
but I've known you for longer because
Oh, that's
I was in the second row of the original Spring Awakening.
Wow.
performance.
Well, so you got all the Jonathan Groff.
I got so much spit.
Yeah.
So much spit. And
That's
I
a very
was
privileged view.
down for it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I bought it all. I loved that show so much. I went home. I listened to it. I would sing and dance in my own kitchen, in my bathroom, wherever I would listen in the car, all of it, all of it, all of it.
That's
So I'm pretty much a musical theater nerd. And I think that the thing that's so crazy about musicals is that oftentimes, especially with musicals, it's very rare that there's a new show that can feel like something you've lived with your whole life or that you can't believe you lived without. And Spring
totally.
Awakening was that for me. I'm such a nerd that I also watched the documentary.
Oh, nice. That was really fun.
It was so much fun to watch. And I felt like I got a peek behind the curtain. And also, of course, when I was watching the play, sitting there for the first time, because everyone was so fresh and new, I could make up what I, well, also as this happens obviously when people watch anything where people are really good at their job, is that you guys were your characters to me. So I
Uh,
was they were deeply in love. It was, I mean, I had the highs and lows. I was just there for it all. When shows like that start, as soon as I'm in, I start crying. Like I just feel so overwhelmed by the music and I feel so overwhelmed by how incredibly brave it is to stand up there in front of all of those people. Like I get goosebumps now. Like cuz it's one thing to speak and to connect and to tell a story and to live with script that you are making new every night. But for me, maybe because I haven't been blessed with that talent, although I long for it, I cannot believe that you could sing and connect and emote and feel and create stories. So when I watch it, I'm so moved by it. And I just loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it.
That's so sweet. I mean, it was a very like raw and emotional show, and it definitely struck a chord because it is like unapologetically about like, adolescence and what happens when when parents are repressive to children. So that expression came from such a real place, and people loved it because it was one of the few times where it wasn't like adults playing kids, but we were actually kids ourselves, which is probably why you were like, you are the characters. And we kind of were in a way. It wasn't really like cast in a traditional sense or made in a traditional sense. They were adapting the characters to us. Like my character plays piano in the play, and I like am obsessed with my piano teacher, and that really was born from me being on a break, like on a lunch break, just playing piano with the cast and messing around on like some Billy Joel or something like that. And at the time, our musical director was doing double duty conducting another show. And they were like, well, we love this musical director, but how are we going to keep her if she can't play the show? And then they ended up writing my character to be a piano player so that I could also play the show. And I had to join the musicians union. And so, like, that is like one of the little nuggets that made this show so deeply personal to the people doing it and to the people, seeing it and feeling that.
Wait,
Yeah.
I want to know about the casting process. For people that didn't see the documentary, tell me about it.
Okay, so I joined it when I was like 16. They'd done so many workshops and iterations and different casts, and every single time there was a new workshop, you had to re-audition because there was just always like you got not. It's not even that you were like got too old. It's just they were always changing the cast, and um, I joined and. I joined the same time Leah Michelle joined and John Gallagher Jr. joined. And the three of us
Oh, love him.
he's so fantastic. And the
Love
three
him.
of us stayed through the Lincoln Center production, like little workshop thing that we did. And then and then I went to NYU. And then I thought it was done. It was done because there were like year gaps in between it. It was a very obscure piece at the time, still being developed. It was very different. Like the rock music wasn't like musical theater rock. It was like actual. It was written by an actual like alternative rock guy,
Who went
Duncan.
to Brown? I didn't go to school with
Yes.
him, but
Yeah, Duncan Sheik was brilliant, now Grammy winning, and he was just this like anti-musical guy, which is kind of it was an interesting creative team because we had like traditional Broadway people and very untraditional people, and sometimes I won't say they clashed, but I think like Duncan had an aversion to do certain things that like just are like the recipe and the formula for certain songs, like putting a big button on it, like we're here, bam, like
Yeah.
that's called a
Yeah.
button. He hated buttons. It needed to like fade into obscurity with like a chord. Like it
this
couldn't.
makes sense now.
and that always like tied, so we were discouraged from singing musical theater songs for the audition. So I sang Something in the Way She Moves by the Beatles. That was always my song. It was just an honest song that I could connect to the words, but also I wasn't like super Broadway about it. And I did my best cool guy impression. But then you're doing this super formal period text that's like 19th century Bavaria, like Germany. So it was a definitely interesting skill set. You need to have like actual actors who also knew how to like sing alternative rock. And that's why, since it was a difficult search, that's why we had to re-audition every time. So in between, like, I went to a full semester of college, and then finally it was happening. I kind of played hooky in a way and auditioned, and then ended up taking a leave of absence that became a permanent leave of absence from college, and went on to do it off Broadway and then Broadway and then beyond.
It was such an incredible concentration of talent. And think about, I mean, there's just, it was, look at where everybody went, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
that's pretty wild. I saw it during the holidays. I saw it with my parents and then my younger brother, and he was, again, just harkening back to that second row aspect of it.
A
There was a lot of sex,
lot of sex.
and
Oh,
I don't know that my parents knew. I don't think they read the fine print. I think it was actually a formative experience for him, because I'm pretty sure I'll have to ask him, but I'm pretty sure that he actually has like really deep, not trauma, but deep feeling about
that
the
experience.
hilarity of feeling it that he was having, which was probably some kind of, because it was sexy. Like, it wasn't just sex in front of you, it was actually fucking sexy. Like, it was arousing. And then
Yeah.
you had your
I mean, there was sex, there was masturbation. I had to
yes.
from masturbation. I had to do a jerk in a circ, if you
I
will.
only just started saying masturbation out loud myself, like as a
Exactly.
person. And this was
Yeah.
on
I mean,
stage. They were saying it and doing it.
imagine being the actor in it, doing it in front of your grandparents who are finally seeing their baby boy on Broadway for the first time.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
I had to do a lot of crazy stuff, and rip off the Band-Aid. I think we got so comfortable with the material that
Yeah.
it almost became kind of fun and funny to us, because we also we sat on stage the entire show. We never left the stage. So even when we weren't in character, we were sitting right, because we had audience on the stage as well, on three sides. And so we would sit amongst them and then come on and do the scenes and then come off. So, and there's moments in the scenes where we're on stage, but we're kind of like not ghost versions of our characters, but kind of like commenting on the show a little bit. So needless to say, we get to see the audience a lot. We get to kind of like hear the audience, and we know when they're going to react. And we've had some instances, speaking of masturbation, I've had room keys thrown at me, and I was like, yeah, I was all,
Panties,
I was like
bras.
18, 17, 18, being like, what are you
Wow.
doing, ma'am? And
What are
then
you doing? What room was that?
we
Back
had
it up. Back it
someone,
up.
yeah, what are we doing? Where are we going?
Going.
Um, and then we also had someone like in the balcony, speaking of masturbation,
Masturbating.
Jerking it.
yeah, yeah.
Do you like to know when people are in the
Yeah.
audience or not? And I mean, like, relatives. I mean, I was in a couple shows where like there were actors who were like, I want to know when someone famous
Yeah.
is here. Like, tell
Yeah.
me if someone famous is here. I want to know. And then other people that were like, you better not can tell me. I don't want to know. Where do you land on this? Important
Well,
question.
there's like a level of what is it called? Tradition, or when you don't want to, it's like superstition,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you're not supposed to, like, those are technically the rules. Like, you're not supposed to talk about reviews, you're not supposed to talk about who's in the house. However, of course that happens. And I'm kind of like whatever about it. Of course that happens. And I'm kind of like whatever about it. I know, like, oh my God, wait, tell me. I need to leave the room. So I don't like to say it, but if I happen to hear it, it depends who it is. Sometimes it is tough, because you're like, wow, I'm literally thinking about this person the entire show.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also, it's not
Yeah.
always the worst thing. Sometimes you're like, I'm kind of glad I know. Not that I would give any more or less, but like, oh, this is cool that I'm doing this. And like Billy Joel's like here.
Okay, so
Um,
when I went with my parents.
I was gonna
Did you
say like
know that Steven Spielberg and Kate
yeah.
Capshaw were in the audience?
I did. Steve, Mr. Spielberg came backstage actually.
Oh,
I think
Mis-
that I was there, and I think we could. I think the internet, because it knows all, will be able to pick up get these pictures. I think there's a picture of all the whole family, and some of you at least in like a stairwell.
yep. Yep. Wait, that
Yeah.
means that we were together in that picture for
Oh,
sure.
Skylar, see, I've known him so much longer than you, Camilla.
I
Yes.
know. I hear it. Whatever.
Yeah, we were all auditioning like for one of his, he had like one of his mini series at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It was
And I
probably
think,
like that Broadway
Oh my
one.
God. Wait, that's really stressful because if you're auditioning for
That's why I'm
him and then
asking.
he comes, then you're like, fuck, I gotta step it
yeah,
up.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
that's why.
hey,
Yeah,
audition for the Pacific or whatever it was, like some
yeah.
war thing. And he's like, oh, very
You
fantastic.
were extra Marine that night.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just
You
saluting,
just start saluting everybody.
You're like, I've never seen this before.
not at all the play. You're not in the army. You're a child in
You
Latin
cha-
class.
you changed the playbill to
Yeah,
reflect your deep admiration for those who have
literally.
served.
Were
Hand
you
over my
tempted?
heart. I'm having like John and Leah are having sex on stage. I'm like, get down, get down.
Fire in the hole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like, what the fuck is this?
yeah,
I
yeah,
will
yeah.
never forget though. Steven Spielberg did have a cast recording in his hand, and I was like, oh, that's okay. He's like, yeah, I picked one up at the box. I was like, we could have got you one. Like you didn't have to pay. Like it was. I thought it was
Yeah.
very cool that he like with his own Spielberg money, which of course he has plenty of. But you know, there's so many resources to get that to him without him waiting in line amongst. You know, and I thought that was very cool and like
Well, we all loved it. We really, really, really all loved it. But I did think about that because I always want to know. And like, I remember doing a show and someone said, well, I don't like to know. And someone spilled the beans and they were like, Robert De Niro's here tonight. And I was like, oh, I don't even know that I'll remember how to act.
I would not want to know.
But here's the thing. Our show was lit in a certain way, especially during the scenes where you could see the first like 5 rows and they always sat the famous people in the exact same seat. So
I
it's
know.
tough not
House
to miss.
seats.
Oh man.
House seats. It's like fifth
The
row in the
house
aisle.
seats.
So I used to play piano and I would have my back turned. I was in the back of the stage, and then I would always pop out and there'd be a big like light on my face, and I would say one of my first solos. And that was always when I kind of got like to take inventory. And I'd be like, oh my God, it's Tyra Banks, or like, oh my God, it's Stephen Sondheim, or like, oh my God, it's like my favorite player on the Knicks or whatever.
Well, in that case, I'd want to know. If
Yeah,
it's like a jump out, then I don't want to be like, da, 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 whoa,
right,
whoa, whoa. Like,
right.
that's how I'd feel internally.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Totally. Especially playing piano, being like, I can't believe the piano man is watching me play piano
Oh
right now.
my
And just
God,
like
that's
sour note.
stressful.
It started with a backpack at the
So obviously clearly started on the younger side, but I have a question because I think that this is like a moment in all like performers' lives where it's like you want to do it, you see it, you want to be on stage, you want to act, you want to sing. Clearly, you've developed your talent, blah, blah, blah. When did you think that it was actually possible? Like, when was the moment you were like, okay, I've wanted to do this, I want to do this, but like, I actually might be able to do this?
Hmm.
Because don't you feel like Broadway is more competitive than like getting a job on a TV show?
No, it's all fucking hard.
No, I think it's hard because I think there are less roles.
I think it depends on what the set is.
Mm.
I never imagined my life like I no after I started acting, I never imagined anything for myself other than I didn't even think TV or film. It wasn't even wanted to be on stage. So like to me, the dream Broadway or and I would have done anything. I would have done the smallest part. It was only awakening actually when I would just opportunities to audition for things. I'm like, sure, I guess I'll try it. And then I was lucky enough to book a movie, which like led it kind of happened really fast when I was on stage. And I think it was like my third or fourth musical because I started when I was like 13 or 14, and then it just my life did a
Wow.
full 180 from like sports and stuff to like and like playing a bit of piano and singing like for friends to like, whoa, I actually had the courage to do it. And
Yeah.
then I was super bitten by the bug and I just loved it so much. And I didn't know if necessarily I was going to do it like super professionally or even on Broadway, but I just knew I wanted to be on stage like and hopefully in some sort of a setting where I can like put food on the table while doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That
When
was
did you start taking like singing lessons and all that stuff?
I started taking piano lessons pretty early, but I then learned when I was like 13, 14, I was totally like taught the wrong way. I didn't
To
learn any
play
like
piano?
yeah, I didn't learn any
Oh.
theory, which is like the language. I just kind of like learned the notes on like one scale and then would like I would compete in these like classical music competitions. And it's crazy because I would like know how to read the music and work on a piece for a very long period of time, but I actually didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like playing. It's very difficult to describe. I
Okay.
going to this teacher because I would be a lot better piano player than I am today. But then I started kind of like singing at those recitals. Like I would do like the Friends theme at my recital. I'm that guy, just like no one told you like I was literally doing theme songs at a piano recital.
But you didn't get singing lessons until later in life? Like you
Until
kind
like
of
14, I went to this woman, Dixie Johnson, who was like an opera person, and I learned a bit of technique there. And
Did you ever go to Eric Vitro?
I have been to Eric Vitro. Yeah,
Who
Eric's a
is
lovely.
that? Is that who trained you for the musical episode, Jessica? Jessica, Skylar, we did a musical episode on Grey's Anatomy, and Jessica had a single line, but I think she trained really hard.
Do you recall what that line was?
Yes, we had a musical episode for Grey's Anatomy, and Camilla was pointing out that when my musical talents were assessed, I was given one line.
And you nailed that line.
I hope I
sure.
did. I
And
hope
she
I
did.
did.
Do you still get nervous when you go on stage, or is that done for you?
I get like I always get kind of well, no, by the time I'm going on, I'm ready to go. There's always like a moment before I start rehearsals or something where I'm like, do I know how to do this? Or like, oh my God, it's in 2 weeks, like 2 weeks from like literally under 2 weeks from today, I will be at the Hollywood Bowl doing this like big Les Mis, Miss Saigon thing. And I
Cool.
still don't know the words for like a couple of my songs. It's this moment where I'm a little nervous. But by the time I get there and like learn everything, it'll be more like excited and more not
Who are
that I'm
you
like
playing? Who are you
I'm
playing?
doing well, so it's this really great it's like a celebration of the writers of Les Mis and Miss Saigon. So we're doing a bunch of songs from a bunch of different shows of theirs, and I'm doing a lot of the big it's crazy actually because I'm doing like a song called Bring 'Em Home, which is a very popular song
I
from
know, I love that song.
but I'm also doing like I'm also playing like two characters at the same time in some of the group songs because there's only
Uh-huh.
like six of us. So we're like divvying them up, and I'm just like basically
Doing it
being
all.
Jekyll.
You're
You gotta
basically
find
doing
it.
it all, kind of. You're
I'm
doing
doing
one day
a lot.
At
more.
the
I'm doing
Hollywood Bowl.
yeah, I'm doing
It's
a whole lot
so
of it.
awesome. The Hollywood Bowl is one of my favorite places in the whole world. I
Yes,
think that
I
if you're just
know.
standing up there, you'll feel great.
I hope so. I've done it before. I've done the Hollywood Bowl. I've been lucky enough to do three things there. So I'm
Oh,
now a
Didn't you do
returning.
something with Chris Carmack? Isn't that
I
how you know each
did.
other? What
We
did you
did.
do again?
he
We
sings
did.
too?
Oh yeah, he was so incredible in Into the Woods.
Into the Woods.
Yeah,
Yes.
he played
Wow, these are things
Rapunzel's
I didn't know.
prince, and he was so funny. I played the baker. It was a really great cast, and the original Millie Sutton Foster was my wife in it. And then
She's
last year,
amazing.
he's incredible. And
She's
then last year's this
amazing.
a lot of that cast, like Sutton and this woman Sierra Boggess and Patty LaPone and myself, we did like a celebration of Stephen Sondheim. So I got to do a lot of like some of my favorite Sondheim songs ever at the Hollywood Bowl. So they're very,
Unreal.
and they cross a lot off my bucket list. And now I'm playing Jean Valjean, which I'll never do anywhere else. So pretty insane that I get to do it there.
That's
That's
insane.
exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Los Angeles now, but you do
Uh-huh.
often come. So I'm in New York. Camilla is in
Nice.
Los Angeles.
That's
Mhm.
where my family is.
That's where your
It's
family
not
is Los Angeles.
No, no,
It
no,
is
New
a
York. That's where I'm
oh,
from.
New York. It is a little bit of a competition between us, Skylar. Which
It's a
city do
little
you like
bit.
more?
Hmm.
Well, I can level the playing field because I feel like I'm getting a lot of blah, blah, blah energy from Capshaw regarding our friendship and relationship.
Oh, I
But
can't
I
wait for
can't
this.
tell you how much she mentioned you when you were not around during Grace. Her bestie, she
Oh,
wants
it's
you back. There was one day where
Yeah.
true.
you pulled up to the lot and I kind of like faded into the back. I think we like kind of met, hello, like hi, but it was like there was no room for anything else. There was a lot of hugging and loving. And
Yeah,
so
that's the day that you snuck on and I quickly ran out of the scene.
Oh,
Remember you came to
oh, that's
visit?
right.
Uh-huh.
That's
she
right. Because
literally
it was
ran out during
COVID.
the scene. I think
I
her
was like,
mic
"Bye, Skylar." So
Oh
literally.
my
good.
gosh. I know.
No,
Actually, you know what? When I think back on that day, that was because we hadn't seen each other in like
a
longer
long
than
time.
usual. Yeah.
So help you, Todd. In
So help
fact,
me.
you were auditioning for that when you were on the show with me, and then you got it. So annoying, and you had to leave me. And
And the
the
sex
show was
parent.
super popular. So I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I was very, very shocked when you guys got canceled. Although in this environment, it's happening to so many shows. But I know that fans really love that show. And so anyone listening that was watching it, are you able to say how it would have ended? And do you have a different way you wish it would have ended?
I know how it was always supposed to end, and it pains me to kind of say it because I really wanted to play it out, and I didn't even tell like my family and people like that because I thought it was really poetic. But it was supposed to end with Todd having his own child and
Oh, that's good.
finally understanding the
The
relationship
relationship with your
between
mom.
mother and son and parent and child. And it was supposed to shed some light. And I won't say what the last lines of the series were, but basically there was supposed to be a tie-in of Todd becoming a father.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Now,
Is that how you would have wanted it to end too, anyway?
yeah, I think the series could have ended that way. There's so much like in between that though that I know was supposed to happen that I was really more excited about. Like not more excited about, just the fun along the way. Of course, the finish line's fun, but like my character used to not disguise himself fully, but like play other characters, which I loved as an actor to be able to just like slip in and pretend to be somebody else and do a poor
Yeah.
job at it too. So the audience was always kind of in on the joke, which I loved. And some great actors and actresses. There was a
Yeah.
flashback episode that I pitched to the creator that we were going to do in season 3. There's a lot of episode ideas and characters we were going to like have. I had a bunch of love interests on the show, and then there was this whole episode where they were all supposed to kind of like show up, and there was some great interplay amongst them, and just you know how it is when like something goes unfinished, and you're like, but we had so much more to
No,
say
I
and do
know.
and get
Yeah.
started. And it was very successful too. So,
It was
but
really successful
yeah,
because you guys were on at the same time. So help me, Todd was on at the same time exactly Thursday nights as Grey's Anatomy. So what I
yeah,
wanted to do was promote the show for Skylar because I love him. And I'm like, I definitely can't. It's on a rival network. And then I would
really.
like look at the numbers. I'm like, damn, they're doing really good in that time slot. I'm like,
Yeah, we
they're
did
killing
well. I mean,
it.
yeah, I guess it was just one of those things where, they had a bunch of shows coming in from past the strike that needed real estate and they weren't really, none of their shows were doing bad or even
Yeah.
less than average. They're very successful over there. And so they were like, and I got the news saying like any other year, it would have been renewed and it was so heartbreaking. And I believe that. And
Yeah,
they
I
were
think that's
so,
probably true.
so good to me over there at CBS. So I know it was a difficult decision. It doesn't make it much easier to digest because it's like it almost would be easier if it's almost like in a breakup when you're like, I wish you were a
Yeah.
jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, I hate
exactly.
that we still love each other
Totally.
and that we want this to, but it's just for some reason the timing isn't right in this one
Yeah.
moment. And so that's kind of what happened there.
I always feel like when there really is like a real excitement and a connection to something that you're working on, and you find out that's going to stop or that's going to end. It's sort of, I say this all the time, so sorry for everyone who hears me say it all the time, but there's like that moment where you have to feel it, you have to process it and all that. And then you do have to kind of hit that reset button and be like, okay, so now, like, what do I want? And how does what I want match up with what wants me? And because nobody wants to live in that kind of disappointment or pain, obviously, in perpetuity, right? And you have all these incredible things that are happening, and you can so easily dip into so many things because you are so multi-talented. In so far as you see things and what you want, is there something that you've really been thinking about wanting to do, or that you haven't done, or that calls to you, or in any kind of way you have like in the back of your mind right now?
Yeah, well, there's a bunch.
Time
There's
to
so
manifest it right
I would
here.
love to I
Yeah.
would love to do something really big on Broadway. Not even like large scale, just like something that's big for me, like as an actor, just something that is maybe a new original show, a revival of one of my favorites. I feel ripe for like a Broadway return.
Mhm.
Um, and then as far as like things I've done in the past, like movie musicals or TV musicals, it'd be fun to do some sort of like a movie musical that was large in scale, like a Wicked or something like that.
Mhm.
Because I think I've done some like fun, different stuff and some big, some small, some in between. I just think it would be really fun to do something like large in scale. Not to say I just want to be in some big Hollywood movie, what actor doesn't, but I think it would be really cool to do something that is like that kind of not even a biopic like Bohemian Rhapsody, but something that feels kind of big in scale like that, where I could really lend my voice. And maybe that's honestly animated big in scale. I just think
Mhm.
it'd be fun to be a part of something and lend every bit of myself to it.
You
I
want to be in the
really
Mamma Mia 2 giant dance boat scene
yes, I
somewhere
would do Mamma Mia
in the
3.
Mediterranean. That looked so much fucking fun. And they're out there and talk
Yeah.
about with abandon and just, I mean, all the things. I can totally see that for you and evidently now for me. I would like to
Yeah.
also be on the boat.
Since I'm also Mr. Manifest, I'll tell you two. I'll call my shot. Two other shots.
Okay.
I also want another series because I love the consistency of the work. It
I
really
know.
moved
No
me.
shit.
Love it. And I'm not just talking about the consistency of a paycheck, though that's not a bad thing either. But I do love taking a character the distance. It's really fun to kind of like see what they're doing and just kind of keep going. And especially if it's a character you love and really resonate with.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things. And then a huge goal of mine, and I've come very close to this before, is making something, like producing something myself. I've written a
Yeah.
lot and I've come close to getting those things made, and
Yes.
it may happen sooner than later. But it's something that when I'm on set, I feel like I'm very in tune to a lot of the different departments. I like appreciate everyone involved. And I feel like I feel like I could do it. I feel like I'm one of those who could. Like my friend Rachel Bloom, she did Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and while it
So good.
seemed exhausting and like she was wearing so many hats, I was like, I think I'm just the psychopath to give this a shot as well. So maybe one day.
I want to do a romantic comedy with you, Skylar. Can we do that?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, we teased you out. We teased you to the listeners. And
Okay.
the first question we got is every we got a lot of this. Pitch Perfect 4.
Yeah,
Is there
that'll
a
always
world
be.
in which that will ever happen? Could it happen? Would you want it to happen? All the things.
I can't wait till I'm doing like an interview when I'm 78, God willing. And they're saying, pitch
I know
perfect
that
rule.
everyone asks you this, but listen, this is how much it resonated with the audiences,
Hey,
like
and I have a very very consistent answer because it's the truth. I would do it in a second. Like
I
I
love it.
there's no mystery on my part. I love doing it. I'm so grateful for everything it brought me, for the friendships and the fans that it brought me. It's wild. I've like been stopped by, kids of all ages, and they continue to kids that are 8 years old. And I'm like, you were -3 when this came out.
Yeah.
How so it's cool now that people show it to their kids. And so I also think that while I would do it if they called me tomorrow, time is also on our side a little bit. I mean, depending on how much more, space they want to give in between the movies, make us older, make it a reunion, however they would want to
Yeah.
creatively do it. But just to get that group together, I'm sure it'd be difficult just because everyone's so busy and has fantastic careers. But I think everyone has a very special place in their heart for that movie.
I love it.
Okay, I'm going to go back to something that happened a couple episodes ago, and we knew you were going to come on. And I remember Camilla being like, "We've got to ask Skylar this." I was like, "Okay." I didn't know you yet, so now I'm like, "Yeah, we got to ask you this."
Okay.
We had a
I
fan,
know
we
what
had a
this
fan
is.
question in, and the question was, "Do you think that men and women can be only friends?"
Yeah, I have many friends that are female.
Really think about it, Skylar.
It's not that
Really
tricky to
think
me.
about
That men and women can be only friends.
Yeah, I have many friends that are female.
Really think about it, Skylar.
It's not that
Really
tricky to
think
me.
about.
I have so many friends that I've never.
No, okay, hang on. Okay, we're gonna get into detail a little bit. Okay, here's the thing. Do you think that men and women can be friends where not where like they never hook up, but like where it's common that one person does not end up developing feelings for the other person, especially if they're both single. Like, and we're not talking like you're buddies. It's like you can go to the movie together, you can go to dinner together, you can go to lunch, like same as you would guy friends, girlfriends. And it's common that people just stay platonically interested in each other.
Look, I'm sure it happens where one can develop feelings, and I've definitely been on both sides of that. But I've also been able to have my friend Lee Gerber is one of them, who's a dear friend of mine, and we could be single or not single, and she's just it's like well, I also develop very like familial relationships with people, so like I do consider people like a brother or a cousin or like my one of my closest friends, Jess Jollis, who's married to one of my best friends, but like we have our own relationship. I actually married them. Like
Yeah. Ordained the wedding.
I was ordained. Like I did that
Yes.
whole thing. And I think the big reason why they asked me to do that was because I'm like equally their friends. Like I will, she would, and weirdly enough, maybe this is just more for their marriage, but like he's not the guy that's going to go to World Market and like smell all the candles with her. And I am for sure that guy. And like even single, like I'm like, yeah,
I
let's
love
go.
it.
She's like, could we go to the
Oh my
container
God.
store? Could we please go to the container store? Danny will not go. And I'm like, can you organize my closet? I mean, I, yeah, and yeah, maybe there's like maybe there is that kind of feeling of like, oh my God, it's like I wish I had a girlfriend to do that, or like, but I
Yeah.
at the time, but I think I don't think it's I don't be okay with
Yes.
yourself. Not to say that like I'm judging those who that happens to, because it's very natural. And again, I've been on both sides of that. But I think that maybe in order to do that, you need to be a little like content with yourself at the time so you feel like you can have a healthy friendship and not cross that boundary. I also am somebody who like when doing love scenes and when in those situations make it a point to like not, cross that line because I think it's almost like asking somebody out when they're at work and it's like hey they're kind of like being nice to you and maybe they are flirting and maybe you are like supposed to be together but you know what I mean unless if it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
uncomfortable you don't want to put them in that position because like they're kind of behind a counter and are supposed to be nice and maybe you're mistaking that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Makes
No,
sense.
no, we got our guy answer, Jess. We
Okay.
got the guy. It was not what I was expecting, Skylar.
By the way, I think it's like they ask most guy, I ask any guy, you're gonna get a different answer. I hope
Yeah.
I hope I'm
We're gonna
representing the good ones, but I don't think I'm representing all men there.
Yeah. No,
I
I
know.
mean our answers were different. Jessica was like, I had so many guys that I was friends with in college that like were totally not into me. We were just friends. And I'm like, let's call those guys. Because I think they might have a different story
Yeah.
for
And
that.
their wives like hate you permanently. They're
Yeah,
like,
for
oh,
sure.
cap shop.
Yeah. They have capshaw voodoo dolls.
Yeah.
We do have a fan question. Oh, this one is giving me
Truth hurts.
I don't like this. I've been with my man for 10 years. It will be 11 here pretty soon. There's no ring on my finger. He's known I want to get married.
Capital letters known.
Known. When do I just call it? We don't even live together. It's not going to happen, is it?
He's known. What does that mean? He's what? What was that part?
He's known that she wants to get married. Like, it's a known thing. They've been together over a decade. They don't even live together. Is this a situation where she just needs to call it and move on? Is it going to happen? What's the guy perspective on this? Because girl perspective, Jess and I were texting last night. We're like,
my one fan question to this fan would be like, is it known that this person doesn't want to get married? Because I imagine you've talked about it in detail. I think that is like something that needs to be kind of agreed on somewhat early, even if it's not coming around the corner. It's like, are you open to this?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I'm hopelessly or hopefully waiting. I think, but no, I mean, I think like, if I gun to my head, I'd say it ain't happening.
That's what we're feeling.
And I'm not saying, and I don't want to give bad advice. Like, you give that man an ultimatum, but I think like maybe if you've been with this person for 10 years, you just try to like have like one final super honest conversation that really doesn't feel ultimatumy. Hear where he's at, accept that at face value, and either move on or keep going.
I think that's such great advice. And I think when you have a relationship for that long, it can be so intimidating to get curious because you're like, exactly what you said. I should already know the answer to this question. Like he either does or doesn't, right? But now I'm in this relationship and now my whole heart is in this, or I've set up this idea, or I think this is going to happen. And now I actually have to I have to get curious. And that's so vulnerable, especially if you think that the answer might be no. And I think that ultimately you got to go there because partnership and connection is about intimacy, and you don't have intimacy if you're not sharing and you're not getting curious and ready for the answers that you're going to like and the answers that you're maybe not going to like, because you can get answers that you don't like and still move on, but you got to get some answers. You got to have some.
Also, try this on for size. I really don't like to be someone who deals in absolutes. I like to, even like the obvious answer here feels like, girl, move on. Like it does, but I try to like, I'm a Libra, so I like to like see it all sides. And then like, so I think that like when it comes to this, if you are 10 years in and, I don't want to take any credit away from us and our profession, of giving this advice. If you're asking a podcast what you should do, then like maybe you kind of know you're searching. And I've been in that place where you're searching for someone to just give you the answer because you deep down kind of know what the answer is. And you're almost tapped out of asking friends even because they're like, how many times am I going to tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so painful.
It's painful.
You should feel as comfortable as possible with your partner, especially if you've been with them for 10 years. And so like, maybe you just kind of rip off the Band-Aid, because either way, like it's an exercise for yourself and you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And it's going to kind of be, not just like a relief, but, I think you're going to like kind of free yourself from the situation by having that conversation. It's like a very vulnerable thing to do.
I also feel like if you walk away and you're like, you know what, instinctually, I think that this isn't going to work. That person, if they really do want to be with you, they'll fight for you. Do you know what I mean? Sure. You'll see in walking away what the answer is. And also, I just feel like you always, as a girl, you have an instinct. And I'm going to out myself a little bit in this. The problem with having a conversation sometimes, even though I fully agree they should have a conversation, is that the other person is sometimes scared to say the truth. I've been in my 20s where I've been like, I just need a little more time before we move in. And I've known I don't want to fucking move in. I don't know. I know I don't want to move in. You're not really the one, but I'm not sure what I want. And then I'm just kind of leading someone along, which sucks. And I hate that I ever did that. But that's when I think you have to trust your own instinct, because you kind of know. And if you break up and that person doesn't fight for you, well, then it's done.
Totally.
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep. I'm there. I
I
agree.
just swung my gavel.
Yeah, but hear ye.
And decided, clonk.
Clunk. Here's the question, and then we'll discuss. Rachel writes in and she says, I am a 5th grade teacher, and the children are unwell. Ever since COVID, I've noticed particularly unhinged behavior. One of my students called me a, quote, certified D1 dick rider, end quote. You can't make this up. Let's talk about it and call it what it is.
Go, Skylar. What do you think a D1 dick rider is? Certified.
I think, I didn't realize that they had gotten a certificate.
They got a certification for it.
So the little that I know, I'm piecing it together. D1 is like an athlete that's in a high tier of college.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Oh, it's a Division 1.
Right.
Yes, Division 1.
Okay.
Yes,
I thought it was
yes.
Dick 1, like a D1,
No.
like you're a Dick
No.
1 dick rider. Okay.
Certified high level.
She might be, but I think that the implication here is that you're certified, meaning like you're a professional. It's meaning you do this all the time and you are very good at it and do it mostly that you're
good in bed, like you're
no.
Yeah, so what's the dick rider part? Do you think that, I mean, I actually, by the way, I did my research, so I have the answer.
A dick rider, I'm assuming you're writing dicks. Like
First of all, what is the discipline for this? How are you be speaking to not only adults, but your teachers? This is insane. My sister's a teacher.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
That's
that's a given.
Well, that's what she's saying.
Right.
She's saying they're unwell. I actually have a friend also that's a teacher, and she said that the exercise of teaching adolescent boys is literally one of the most unhinging experiences that she has in her life ever, anywhere. And every single day of the week, she feels like if she turns her back when they start laughing, she's like taken back to being in the cafeteria as a
my God.
like
did I
get my period?
Like,
my pants. What happened?
Am I a certified D racer? Yeah.
D racer?
Oh, it's a dick rider. It's a rider.
Yeah, dick rider.
And a dick rider is that you're on top of you're mounting dicks.
No. Okay. So this is what I thought too, but I went to the teenagers, and here's the answer.
You went to
ready?
Gen Alpha?
Yes, I went to them.
All of them.
Oh God!
Yeah,
Like, if you say that to my daughter, she literally like has a visceral reaction.
I don't even know what any of that shit means.
No one does.
I just kind of figured out some Gen Z stuff, and apparently
Wait, what did you just say though? Hibbity hibbity?
Skibbity.
I don't know what it means.
Ugh, there's so many things on TikTok and Instagram, like basically decoding language again. But here's the deal.
Okay.
A dick rider is not sexual. A dick rider is a dick rider is someone who is like unctuous or like insincerely suave, but like keeps throwing on the compliments, but they're not real, and they're just like constantly like riding your dick. They're like, "You're so great, you're so awesome, you're so amazing."
I know that.
Synonym for dick riding would be also something called glazing, which you're constantly like, and it's not rizzing up because it doesn't have a sexual connotation. It's just like you're they're constantly complimenting people, but it's not sincere, and it's also just too much, and it's very much a turnoff.
Here's what I just heard from you, Capshaw. I just heard, so it's not slim clammy, but it is a tickety-doo-bah, which is, it's like, hey, you're speaking another language.
No.
It's pig
glazing.
Latin.
But put glazing in a sentence, though. Is it like, hey, you've been glazing me recently?
I think a very, very sexual thing when I hear glazing. I hear very...
No, I know. It's a glazed dick. It's like a glazed donut dick. I don't know. It's like all the glaze and the dick and the riding. There's no way it's not sexual.
The glaze and the dick and the riding. I feel like...
Riding a glazed dick.
Wait, what if Gen Alpha, the whole point of them is to make us idiots think sexual stuff, and it's not sexual at all? It's like, yeah, well, I was glazing on a girl. What do you mean glazing on a girl? I mean, I'm complimenting her. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's like dick riding. It's like, no, I'm talking about Richard Hamilton, the famous author. We call him Dick. He's dick writing. Get your head out of the gutter, millennials.
How do you make that phone call? Is it a phone call to the parents? Do you have to write certified D1 dick rider in an email?
Yes,
Are
you
they
should.
calling
Is that the
parents anymore?
subject? Yeah, I just
they-
have to tell you that Bobby said certified D1 dick
D1.
rider to me in class.
Yeah.
And we had to Google that. That's also glazed.
Rachel, I'm proud of you. If no one said it today to you, I just want you to know that on this podcast, I am proud of you. I'm proud of you for going every day and being a teacher and taking
Oh
this
my
shit.
God, Jessica, you are being such a certified D1 dick rider right now. Is just giving Rachel her flowers in this way.
Thank you so much for being here today and subjecting yourself to our podcast.
I could do this all day. In fact, please have me back. We will decode more of the youth.
You know
I
what?
would ask to,
You know what? If we get another question in that's like this, you're going to be our number one call.
I can hop right on.
You can
I
hop
feel like
on.
one of those kind of like how they do on the news, like on the phone with Skylar. You know,
Yes.
you have another. You'd be like, I'm so sorry, other famous actor or author or someone or guest that we have on this podcast. We're going to call into Skylar Astin.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's
You're going to be our correspondent.
You've carved
I'm
out your
happy.
niche in our show. I
All
love
right.
Let's do this again sometime, guys.
Okay, we love you. We're going to let you go and have an amazing day and spread the word about the D1 certified dick riders. Inform the masses what's going down, Gen Alpha. Okay.
Bye.
Hi, guys.
That was so much fun. He's so great.
The certified D, like, so he was so good at answering questions.
It's connecting with the crew.
It's connecting with the crew. Okay. That was incredible. I cannot wait to have him back for all the things in the future. Let's call this the end of the episode.